Hello, this is Matt with Rugby 100 Club. Today's guest is Ollie Gilpin. Ollie, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Matt. It's great to be here.
Yeah, no, it's been kind of fun to text the last couple of days and kind of build up to this moment where we get to interact in front of God and country and see what we're up to, you know?
That's good.
So I purposely created the background here because I know you had something to do with this design here. And of course, I got my MLR ball from the championship this past.
I love that.
It's too good. Too good.
Yeah, it's great.
So how you been, man? How's the transition been from Free Jacks to the overall?
Yeah, no, it's been great. It's been really great. So obviously I left the Free Jacks at the end of last season and I moved to OS Studios, who are an agency who are working. We're working right now with the league. We're helping the league with everything fan focused, so production, broadcast, media, content, all of the good stuff, with the aim of building fandom. And so it's been great. Obviously I miss the Free Jacks a lot. Like, it was a big part of my career. We did a lot of incredible things there, and they have an incredible team. But honestly, I think it came to a time where I saw the option to build with the entire league and get, increase the scope of work and working with more communities and kind of helping the league build in what has been a fairly tough off season. So really, really exciting.
Oh man. Yeah, no, those, anybody watching, in case you don't know, Ollie used to be heavily involved with Free Jacks and all that cool stuff you see around Quincy. He's behind it. All the jersey kits that have been designed, he's behind it. If you watch the Rugby Rant, plug Rugby Rant because they're great. You did an interview with them. Man, I want to say it was June. Don't quote me.
So it was while I was over at the Free Jacks. I was running
right before the championship, if I remember right.
That's right. Yeah. Right on our lead up to the championship.
And
I will say,
watch it. Yeah, he goes into the details, and it's pretty cool, I gotta say.
Yeah, no, it was a great interview, and Rob obviously is fantastic. I will say, to your point about all of the goings on at the Free Jacks, I was a part of that team, but everyone there is incredible, and I think a lot of that comes down to the cultures that existed there. We had Brendan, who is potentially one of the best content creators I've ever worked with, incredibly talented. We had great ticket sales teams. We had, every single person that we worked with over there was just phenomenal, and we were all pulling in the same direction. And I think, that was one of the big pieces. So all of the work in Quincy, all of the creative, all of the content, it was a real group effort over there.
Outside looking in, I want to compliment you guys when you were there on exactly what you just talked about, on the fan player engagement. You guys with Free Jacks did the best in the league, in my opinion. And that's not easy to say when you have 11 people chasing after that same kind of goal. Or 11 teams, if you will, at the moment, at that moment. But which honestly is humbling to say, because with being so interwoven with Seattle in general, that's always been my goal. But you have conflicts of agreement, so that is what it is. But what you guys did, man, every chance I get, I'm complimenting it on social media. And I want to just tag every team, be like, follow this example, but nobody wants to hear that guy chirp, you know what I mean? But
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. It's look, I'll be honest. We are all here because we love rugby, right? That's why we're here. So that's always going to be our North Star and our core driver. But if we want the people we love and new people and, for the sport to grow, we need to appeal to something that drives everyone. And I think, that is engagement with fans. It is fun. It is creating something exciting that you want to be a part of, whether that's like turning up to a game once, 8 times a year, or if it's connecting with friends over social media. And the thing that I loved the most with the Free Jacks was the communities that we built, and like the fan groups and like chatting to those guys. And the Free Jacks became one of the ways that those people would connect together. They were like sharing beers with each other, they're going out, traveling together, going on vacations. Like that is an incredibly rewarding community to see grow. And so that was kind of where our focus was, and that's what we're hoping to bring to the league this year too. So
I'm excited to see what happens. Were you in the Scrum Innovation there prior to the championship?
No, I wasn't in the Scrum Innovation. I was Alex Magleby, now co-president of the league.
I know he was there.
He was there and did a talk, held up the flags for the Free Jacks and sort of all the work that we've been doing. And but yeah, honestly, I think that's one of the key pieces is it was great to see Mags get up on the stage and chat and talk for all of us, because again, we're pulling in the same direction, working for the same goals. So no, it's good.
You I don't know if did you ever get to go back and look at that footage, that not Alex's or Meg's, however you want to call him today, but it was the next session where they had did you get to see that ever?
The one with Bill Goran on it, is it that one? Or the one with Jericho, maybe?
Windsor was up there representing one of two guys representing the players.
Got it. I haven't gone back and looked at the footage, but I should.
Okay. I mean, sorry. It would, with what you just said with the fan player engagement, I really think for your homework, you should watch that.
Yeah, I'll go back to
only because I was lucky enough to be present and I got to interact with everybody at the end. And I feel like you're going to call me back after you hear what I had to say at the end there, because it is exactly the same page. We are on exactly the same page.
Love that.
That's funny that I'm really glad you brought that up, because that was something I wanted to engage with you. Like, I'm going to get up to a question here, I swear.
No, of course.
With the setback with the MLR, we're back to like 2018 numbers. Okay.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. We're not up to the numbers of attendance. We're actually behind in numbers of attendance. Seattle by itself was dang near sold out a couple games in last of 18 at 4,500. Okay. Which you can recognize being at Quincy so many times, because our pitches are those pitches are very similar. So here's my thought, and I don't mean to come across aggressive in any way, shape, or form. It's just now that the MLR has fallen on its face, politely, because everything's a learning curve. Always, this is a small business at the end of the day. Is the MLR? I say we because I feel like I'm part of it at times, but is the MLR going to help build club and grassroots rugby in order to elevate the MLR, or are they going to continue to push a business that nobody understands or knows about in America?
Yeah, well, firstly, I'm glad you said we, because we are all part of it, right? Like all of us are. Like when you dedicate this much time to being in a community, you are part of it. It's not up for discussion. We are all part of it. And frankly, none of this exists without us, right? And without all the other fans and all the other people engaging with it. So we is definitely the right term. I would suggest, look, I mean, I can't speak to every team. I can't speak to the overarching strategy and goals of the rugby side of stuff. Obviously, I'm more on the fan engagement element. What I will say is,
the fun side.
I've sat in the fun stuff. I've sat in meetings with Lucas and Graham and Mags and all of the executives over at MLR, and the one thing that they are aware of is how important the fans are and how important community is. So I can't really speak to the ins and outs of grassroots
Yeah.
rugby. I do know I can speak to the Free Jacks, and I can say
Yeah.
grassroots rugby was key with everything we did. Grassroots rugby, we engaged with local clubs. We pulled in players from local clubs too, like Mystic River has a direct pathway. There are players that played in the with the Free Jacks that came directly from those clubs. So,
Yeah.
look, I can't speak to club wide, but definitely, man, like I'm proud to have been part of the Free Jacks. TK over there, and Wheels, who was previously Thomas Grant, previously running the academy side and development side. I mean, that's really where all of that magic happened, and it was a blessing to be able to market that and help those guys market that, because they were doing all the graft and doing all the work on the ground. So look, man, I think it's important. I think the growth and the build of rugby, we need to engage and grow with players, with grassroots. We need to engage and grow with new audiences. We need to connect with more people that enjoy other sports. We need to start connecting with other types of personas, people who are involved and want to get involved with the fun and come and have a beer and hang out and party. Like, we just need to do a better job overall at reaching new audiences and making sure that we're supporting the audiences we have.
I love it. Didn't want to cut you off, man. It's so
No.
good. So good. And like I really have been looking forward to this conversation, just because like you are a humble man, and that is part of the beauty of you being in the position you're in. And same with Megs, man. Like, you guys did such a good job with the Free Jacks, and whoever doesn't agree, that's okay. But because you did such a good job with it, it's fun to outside in, fun to watch you guys come up to the next position up the ranks, if you will, and like start steering the ship more actively versus part of it, like you're now at the helm kind of thing. And it's really a big deal, because the fan engagement, I think, is something that's been neglected. And I don't think it was intentionally neglected by any means. I think it's just everybody's trying to figure out their own way of creating their own mojo. And, you know, I was lucky enough or blessed enough, however you want to perceive it. I pretty much went to every stadium there was in the country at some point. And I got to see the inner workings of each one, and their branding and their swag and et cetera. Um, and then I started talking people into the office to, like, you want to go, you got a weekend you can slide away to away game, and I'll show you some stuff, because they do a little different than us, but like there's no negative. It's just all positive. Like, just
Mm-hmm.
take what you like out of it, kind of thing. And everybody had their own little spin that was fun. And then others succeeded better and just overall.
Yeah.
Um, I really
No, that
liked how
makes sense.
Houston would let everybody come on the pitch and let the players for 20 minutes would intermingle with everybody. I think that is amazing, or was anyway.
Yeah, I think as far as I know, there's no plans to pull that stuff. Obviously, I still speak to the guys over at the Free Jacks. The Yeah, the honest truth is, like, having a fan led North Star, right? Like, if you have a goal where you're saying, like, everything we do is for these group of people, and not just this group of people, but the group of people that are like them, or the potential people that they want to bring. And we use the term rugby adjacent a lot. So it could be like a coworker, a colleague, a family member, buddies, friends, all those people. Those are the people that we need to make these things appealing. And when you have that fan focused North Star, all of the decisions are so much easier, right? It's like, what are we going to do after the game? Like, of course, we're going to bring, like, fans down and have a party and have beers and put music on afterwards and play rugby, because it's like, as a fan myself, what would I want to do, right? And so it's really
Yes.
easy to make decisions, because you're just like, well, that's kind of what I want to do, and like, I kind of want to go for a beer and hang out. And I want to get dressed up in weird outfits at the weekend and like have any excuse to have a few beers with my buddies and meet incredible people. And yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's like when you collectively as a unit, like everyone does at the Free Jacks, and definitely did, and I think to my knowledge still do, is the decisions are so easy because you're just prioritizing the fan experience and what the fans want to do and where people want to go. And early in my career, I worked as I worked in restaurants and coffee shops as a marketing executive in the UK, and we worked in coffee shops that would nestle themselves next to PWCs and like big corporate buildings, and we would serve lunch and breakfast, right? And there'd be 5,000, 10,000 people coming down for lunch every day. And it's really interesting. You kind of forget when you see all these guys in suits. You're like, okay, like this needs to be corporate. These are like corporate guys. Like they need to be given, like everything needs to be perfect. We need to be like yes sir, no sir. Very high end, very sleek, very business. It's so easy to forget that there's a human behind the tie, if you know what I mean. Is this like
Yeah.
human back there, and like they don't want any of that stuff. Like what they actually want is just like a really good time and like to hang out and party and like even at lunch they just want to go somewhere they can chat to someone like a normal human for 10 minutes, even though like 10 minutes before they were talking about $1 million spends and and
Yeah.
accounting meetings. It's so I think that's the thing is the motivation of why people want to be there is really important to remember. And actually, if you want to do it, like if that's the thing you want to do, and like you want to have fun and you want to go and watch a great rugby game, like that's honestly the best driver, right? Because chances
Yeah.
are other people want to do it too. So yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, example. Give me an example. So you've been around rugby your whole life, hence your
Mhm.
father got you into it as a rugby player. Um, I don't know. Give me a story about one of your favorite times with rugby and like at a rugby game or situation that you weren't having to grind and work.
Oh man, like as a player, like as a kid, and I think this goes back to our grassroots conversation. It was just everything. I was living and breathing it. Like genuinely to this day, one of the happiest moments of my life was 2003 World Cup, England coming away with the trophy. Like that forever sits in my happiest moments of my life, second to child and marriage, obviously, if they're listening.
Right, right. No, yeah, yeah, we kinda have to say that, but, like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's 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 a close second, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it really budges up tight to those other ones. So yeah, honestly, like that's like one of the key ones. The other one is for me is going on tour when I think we were 11 or 12. We went on a tour to Ireland, and it was
Ooh,
like, it was only I think it was a weekend long, but just that moment. And what I love about rugby is like the connection with your buddies, the connection with your mates. Like you forge friends for life in those moments. And you know what? Like, and here's a really poignant thing that ties back to what we were discussing. I cannot tell you when I was 11 years old whether we won or lost the games. I can tell you every single name of the people that were there. I can tell you what we did, where we went, who we played. I can tell you this. I almost probably could recite the songs that we would used to made up and used to sing
ah,
in the bar with our parents afterwards. Like I think that's the kind of the driving force of this, or of all of this, is when you go back and you look into your memory and you think about all the great stuff. Like I have absolutely no idea if we won or lost or what the rugby was like. It's all of the greatness that surrounds it. And I think that's what's so compelling, right? Like, you know,
yeah,
there's certain games you remember if you won, obviously. But yeah, those big moments they're never on the field. It's the connections and friendships you make.
that's thank you for sharing that. That's a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
thank you. I don't have like a bunch of questions to like hit you with.
Yeah.
I'm not as uh into stats and such like
Hmm.
other people are. Like I'm funny as like I'm really just the social guy that wants to
Yeah. Yeah.
hear more about your life than your statistics.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think that's more valuable.
Yeah. Yeah, for
But
sure.
that's just me.
People are the answer for sure.
Right, right. Like I just love hearing people's stories. Like you telling me about being a kid and going to Ireland on a tour. Man, that would have I remember okay, the closest thing I can get is my son 10 years ago going from Washington State, Seattle area down to the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And he went for a week with his coach at the time was Aaron Lee. Shout out to Aaron Lee.
Yeah.
He's now the president of Rugby WA, which is running youth rugby.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
he took him down there and they had such a good time. I mean, the kids don't they remember getting, they can remember the games only because it was such a blowout and they got put on their heels. But
Yeah.
but otherwise that's not the first thing they think of. They think about the shenanigans and the
Oh yeah.
friendships and the bonds and the camaraderie of it all over any failure. And
Yeah.
I think that's something that uh we have failed as a community, a rugby community, that when we talk about rugby, we tend to talk more about the game
Yeah.
and the details of it versus the community and how, a lot of club rugby, um, you can go play for them and they can get you a job. You can stay with them on their couch or myself where I've had a couple players live with me. They stay in my room. They drive my extra car.
Yeah.
Um, it's community and it's the stuff of like keeping everybody on their feet, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some guys have joined, trouble. We've had guys come play rugby that were on the verge of suicidal tendencies.
Mm.
Guys that were in gangs that found the same love and camaraderie within a rugby club, which is I mean, yeah, it's like it's aggressive, but man, you're not having to dodge, duck bullets. So there's a
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
deal, Holyfield, and I think by us growing the grassroots by that kind of attitude,
Mhm.
because it just falls into place once they get the camaraderie, they get that part. Teachers want to hear that more than the collision and the aggression
Oh,
that
yeah, for
we
sure.
love and all that. But the reason we love it at times more than others is, at least for me, thinking full circle, is because after they go to war, damn near killing each other on the pitch, that's where they leave their aggression. They learn their balance and how to throttle it in and throttle it
Mhm.
down, and then they can drop their guard and be
Yeah.
kind and remember that they're probably playing with that guy some way down the road, probably on the same side of the ball, maybe,
Yeah. I
It's
am no, I think it's a really I think it's a really important topic. You know, the league, one of the things I would say the league has done fantastically well is highlight the mental health line. Like they do a lot of work in that vein. And I think it ties really to um not to get too existential, but I do think it ties to community spaces are just like dwindling, right? Like when you were young, when I was young, there was the post office people would go and they just bump into each other. There was there was the people went to the church more. They went to
yeah,
community spaces more. Even like working remote is huge, and so you're not connecting with coworkers as much. And so there's all these community focused spaces are sort of slowly being tugged away from our society, and we've got like no excuse, or we've got less excuses to kind of
yeah,
just hang out with people. And like, not to get too crazy, but like what I love about rugby is it just gives us this excuse to just like go and hang out and be with each other. And I the other part of all of this, and like the thing that I love the most about rugby is um there are not many team sports, like true team sports, like maybe a little bit of softball here and there, but there are not many true team sports where you can play the same rules as the pros and connect with a bunch of humans and like actually have a collective goal and a shared goal and like hang out and be together. Like golf is huge, right? Participation wise, but there's one
Yeah.
of you. And pickleball's huge, but there's one of
Yeah.
you. And like, no one's depending on you to show up. Like you show up because you want to, because you're motivated to play or get out there. But like being part of a club is being part of a community. And like,
Yeah.
if you don't show up to pickleball, no one's calling you to check you're okay or like to touch base with you. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, no, you're
you
so
don't
right.
show up to rugby and people are like, what the hell, dude? Like, where were you
Right?
this week? So
Yeah,
yeah,
especially if you show up with like a shiner and you're like, bro, I don't remember you catching a knee last Thursday. What are you doing, bro? Like
yeah,
you say the wrong thing to your spouse or whatever, I don't know. But yeah.
yeah. It's no, exactly. And I think that's the thing I love about it. Matt, did you play sports other than rugby when you were growing up or?
Uh yeah, yeah, super American over here. Yeah, so rugby didn't exist when I was a kid. I was in high school late 80s into the 90s, and dude, it was a 5-letter word that like, might as well have been a 4-letter word. It didn't it didn't blossom. Soccer was growing at the time.
Yeah,
Have you heard of the Seattle Sounders?
of course,
I'm a
absolutely,
Sounder.
of course.
I
And
mean, I'm stupid, but
their sister club is Rain. Is that right? I
right.
think.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, the Seattle Sounders started in my backyard in Federal Way at Steel Lake,
Well,
of all
that's
things.
right.
And then they blossomed over to Starfire, where you see the
Mhm.
Seawolves. And then they grew out of that place by running the back of the NFL. And then, of course, they blossomed into a full on MLS league. But watching them go through it all. So soccer was the closest thing we got to any quote unquote European sport.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it was baseball, American football, um,
Mhm.
and basketball. Really, I
And
mean, those
when did you stop playing those? Like when did those stop?
were high school. I'd say probably
Yeah.
93.
I think
Yeah,
that is the most told story of America is
yeah,
like you throw yourself into these sports that you love and you just really like they're all encompassing. And
yeah,
then you leave high school or you leave college or whatever, and you're just like, oh, well, that's done. And I think that's my favorite part of rugby too, is like to your story, I think is a story that people across the US are sharing. They don't get a chance, or very rarely do they get a chance to go out and play those sports, especially the more American sports, right? Participation is not huge. I know that soccer's growing and five-a-side and all those other areas are growing across the US, but that's the thing I love the most about rugby is like very few people in the US anyway say, oh, I played a little bit in high school and I don't play anymore. That's not a story that happens with rugby. Like the story that happens with rugby is, oh, I played in college and like I haven't played for 10 years, or I haven't played for 15 years. No one says like, oh, I stopped playing and I've left it behind. Like there's always a little bit of you that like still feels like you want to be playing, or at the very least want to be
always.
sharing a beer, with the guys at the bar. And I think that's actually the piece that's so great about this community, right? Is you you never really quit, right? You never really give up rugby. Like, you're never really not a fan or don't want to be part of it. Like you're driven to be part of this forever. And you can be lapsed, right? But like once a rugby fan, always, or rugby player, or part of the community, always part of this community. So no, I think there's just so much growth potential. What we need to improve is we need to be better at telling those stories, and we need to be better at appealing to people and explaining what it is, because the issue is we are we're as in this is an entire community. This is bigger than Major League Rugby. It's like all rugby everywhere. We get so wrapped up in the sport, and we'll tell people like, and we kind of love that ego, right? When someone says, oh, rugby, like, I hear that's a violent sport, and you're like, oh yeah, like, yeah, it's real, but whatever. We love all that stuff. But actually, if we were really honest with ourselves, like, what keeps you going back for 20, 30 years. It's not that like you wake up in the morning, you know, your knees clicking, you think I could do with getting battered by a, you know, 250-pound 19-year-old kid, like who's gonna, you know, like you don't look forward to getting tackled when you get into your late 30s and early 40s. But what keeps you going back, right, is the connection, the community, the storytelling, the shared experiences, the fact that you're in this like, yeah, big piece. And the other part of this too is the thing I love about rugby, especially on a local level, is women's rugby is exactly the same as men's rugby. So you have you know great communities there. Like men's and women's clubs often have like paired clubs together. It's a really great fun experience. You'll get you know partners and people playing for both teams. There's like this interconnected community element that is just so important. And actually we need to you know tell those grassroots rugby stories. And I don't know if you are on TikTok or Instagram. There's
Yeah.
a so there's a do you remember Dylan Audsley? I hope I'm saying that right. Dylan Audsley. He is an ex-player, played in San Diego a while ago. He's just
Like
started.
I'm totally like, grab my phone, buddy.
Yeah, he
I'm not
started.
ignoring you.
No, it's fine. Yeah, no, he started a an account recently on socials, and it's
What's
called
his name?
his name's Dylan Audsley, but his account is called um Culture RFC. It's called Culture RFC.
Oh, I
And
love that.
he travels, he's like starting in California, but he's going out and like chatting with people on the ground about their stories, right? And like some of it's rugby, sure, like some of it's on the field. But he has this, like, I watched his video the other day and just like fell in love with it. He said,
I think
culture
he's gonna be
doesn't,
my new best friend.
honestly, he's incredible. I immediately, when I saw the video, I was like, Dylan, I need to be on a call with you and meet like this week. You know,
Right?
I saw it on the Sunday, and by the Monday, I was like on a call with him, chatting about like what he's doing and what he's building, and like, yeah, he's early days, like he's really early days right now. But
Yeah, no, it's okay though, because we all start somewhere. And I know two
right,
and a half years ago, I didn't know what the F bomb I was doing. And
right, and
Rob
you figure
Hammerschmidt and Scott Fiera, it was like they were holding my hand, man. They're like, bro, we got you. Like, just try this, try that. Yeah.
it's the best, and it's the best, right? And so
Yeah.
he was telling me all about these. He's telling me all about these people that he's reaching out to. He's visiting clubs across California. He's going to go bigger and reach out to bigger clubs. And he's telling me like, you know, all these incredible stories that he's picking up, and like all these, and some of them are on the field, like definitely, like some of them are about training and leadership and all those other things. Some of them are about community and family and support. And I don't know, man. Like I just like that for me is such an exciting topic because like God
Yeah.
knows we need it right now. You know, God knows we need some like reason to get together and be a part of it. Like Lucas,
I'm
obviously,
loving this.
Lucas at the league, and Mags, you know, we were chatting when we first started all this, and we were talking about working together at the league. You know, one of the things that Lucas and Mags brought up was like, we want to be that rugby needs to be the third space in people's life, right? It's not home, it's not work. We need to be the other space, right? Coffee shops are dying from a community standpoint. It's just like a place you go and eat and leave. You know, a lot of people are ordering on their phones right now, so they don't even have to like, you know, communicate with anyone, right? And so that's dying, and the pubs are gone, and they're not in the same way that they used to be, and all these spaces are dying. And rugby really has this ability to be the third space, but we have to connect with people that are already doing these things so that we can tell those stories properly and
Mhm.
show what an incredible space we've got. Like we as a community have, I was going to say some of, but actually the best people in the world. Like we have incredible humans. I mean, I could talk about this forever, but when
No,
we're
no,
when we're
no, dude, you picked the right nerd to go nerding out with. Saying,
that's
bro.
cool.
Just
Yeah,
saying, like, bro, it's like, go, 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 go. I'm encouraging the snot out of this.
good. When I was at the Free Jacks, we worked with Mass Lottery to, it was called Impact Free Jack. We went out into the community, and we found people just doing great stuff, right? And like some of them were rugby connected or rugby adjacent, some of them weren't. But there's this one that like I always think about, and it was big Massachusetts like rugby hero had started this Christmas foundation, and there was a lady called Max Julian who was running it now because the guy had who originally started it, the rugby guy, had passed away, this rugby legend, and so she had been running it for about a few years. And what they did was they fundraise and they buy Christmas presents for families who are in need, who like, and
Oh yeah.
they're completely silent. They just go out, they get the gifts, and they deliver it to their families, and they've got something to open on Christmas. And I just thought, like that whole thing existed because of Max. She was running the whole thing and doing an incredible job. But before that, it was started by this rugby guy who saw something in the community and just made a change. Like those are the people that are in our midst, and those are the people we like chat with every day and talk to every day. Like we need to tell those stories. We need to get them out. We need to show people what a great like community we have. And like, when I was chatting to Dylan about his culture RFC, I was like, man, like, yeah, I love the community rugby stuff, but we both agreed. So I don't want to make this sound like it's my idea, because it
No,
wasn't.
no, you're good.
We were both on the same page. We both agreed that like the magic of this is the other stuff too, right? It's like, it's the stories of people like, helping out their communities in ways that you could never imagine. It's the stories of, hey, why did you start that rugby tournament? Or how did you help, your guys when they were in need? Or, hey, you're a, bartender at this rugby bar. Like, what are these guys like? How has it changed, the community? Like all these incredible stories that are existing. So,
Yeah.
no, I absolutely love it. And I think that's the magic that we're really blessed to have as a community, for sure. And I know that you must have felt it in your existence in that space.
You nailed it, man. Like you're telling me about Dylan, and I'm trying to figure out if it's the same Dylan that went to Utah. So because he was from Sacramento area, and I was wondering if it was that Dylan that used to help do that. And I don't think it is. I think it's a different Dylan. But
Dylan, well, yeah, he was at San Diego like 21
player,
ish,
correct?
player at San Diego in 21. He's
Oh,
an
so he
Eagle.
would.
He's an Eagle too. He played
Okay,
for the
he would have
US.
played with. I'll ask Devin. Devin Short played with him. I bet him or
Yeah,
CC.
I'm
But
sure.
yeah, I what you just said in it's I don't know about you, but conversation. I'm just always wanting to like be a spark plug in the conversation is my flaw. What I wanted to jump in there with was so I've been trying to upload it to YouTube for like literally 3 days, been having some super big internet issues, which is I'm building up to on this situation we're in currently. So um so Devin and I did this interview because Devin just retired.
Of course, yeah.
And so we sat here on the couch and hung out because he's like a nephew to me. He lived with me for a hot minute. A lot of people don't know that he lived with me during the season. Or not off season, excuse me. But anyways, nonetheless, so what we did was we did the interview and then we took off because it was right around Thanksgiving, Christmas. And we took off to pick up the people, friends of ours from Valley, which is a club that Devin and Pongo both have been coaching this this
No
year.
way.
And so we went to their holiday party, if you will, with the party bus. In case
Yeah,
anybody gets too tipsy, we take to and fro, and nobody has to trip
yeah, I love
about
that.
that. And so we watched, and what we went for in the holiday party was everybody had gathered up all these gifts for less fortunate families,
Wow.
and they went through them all and organized them, and of course, took a couple pictures in front of it. Otherwise, nobody ever knows it happened. And it's not like it again. It's not about the accolades for doing it. It's about doing it
Yeah,
because people forget with all this stuff that's happened since pandemic, hence we're doing a Zoom call, it seems
yeah,
like, that people forget about that investment and that help that the community consistently needs, and the interaction alone, just to remember, like, it could always be worse.
Yeah,
So
I agree, and also like I remember that like that the people outside your window are good people. I mean, like there's goodness. We all need like positive stories in our life, right? Like we all need to hear them. And it's like it's not about credit or about you know like dancing around saying, look at me. It's about like it's like about showing people like, hey, there's goodness out there. And especially the rugby community, it is filled with those humans. Like you know, I've played rugby for a long time. I was living in Vermont for a while, right on the Vermont New Hampshire border, and near Dartmouth College. And I played for a club up there called Upper Valley, and it was just incredible. Like I've met friends that I still connect with. I've moved away, but the most amazing part of that is just like all great stories, all great people. There are people on that team, different people, but people I could call from prison, people I could call if I was in a bind. It's like I have a buddy that I can ask for each different situation that I'm in. Some of them wouldn't get invited to a wedding, but they definitely would get me out of prison. So I no,
we all have those friends. Yes,
yeah,
our
yeah.
acquaintances, whatever you want to word them as.
Yeah, that's right. And no, I mean, jokes jokes aside, like I love that element of it.
You telling me, bro? In the past, I've been that character, so I can, talk a little too fast, kind of thing. And yeah, I've been invited to 2 weddings this off season. I didn't see. I mean, like, I would have not seen me 20 years ago being invited to say politely. uh, yeah. One of them was Devin Short.
Nice. There you go.
Kill me for saying that out loud. And then everybody will find out later on. And then Clarky. Clarky got married in Northern Ireland, and my wife and I were the only Americans that represented his side, funny enough.
No way.
And it was really
Rugby.
an
There you
honor.
go.
Really an
Yeah.
honor, man. Really cool. Like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Rugby.
mean,
Rugby
Adrian
thicker
Belfour's
than blood.
wife would have qualified as an American too, but like,
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
over there with her family in Northern Ireland, so not as unique.
Yeah. 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 She had an excuse. No,
But
I have
what a
like so back. You asked me a second ago what was my favorite, some of my favorite memories from rugby.
yeah.
Like what are your like what are yours? What are your like? Do you have any like go tos that you think about as like?
Well, here's the thing. I didn't play rugby, so I was always in the mix of the culture, and I've learned
Mhm.
from the outside looking in, which is a really, really difficult way to learn a sport, a culture, and a community, right? Because it's
Yeah,
it's it's
yeah,
kind of like religion, and
yeah.
so
No, we start crossing our yeah.
I
That's
know.
yeah.
I almost did it too. So with that in mind, I don't have the player experience, which I felt like I would have. I mean, I not. There's no question in my mind I would have loved it because growing up, I loved some football and
Mhm.
AKA soccer, and then the collision of American football, bro. Like my buddy Brian, that was, and I'll tell him every time because I just get to my little rub. He was my backup in high school, and dude, that guy had massive discipline. He was a pro athlete before he was a pro athlete, and he played for the Texans for like, I don't know,
Oh
8 years.
wow.
So
Yeah.
number 48 Brian Pittman, Texans. Anybody wants to Google that. And so I love still bragging about him because him and I have been thick as thieves for a while, but like when
Yeah.
he was playing ball, everybody came out of the woodwork, and it's kind of fun to watch. But um I digress. So back to rugby. My stories are more of like the social part and some of the situations that have presented themselves, good, bad, and different. Mostly good. And I love the camaraderie of the community. At times, I've had to lead by example, and I think that's where you're going earlier in our conversation, where you're like,
Yeah.
it doesn't always mean that you got to tell somebody or get credit for it, but rather you lead the way and you show them like, listen, and I'll say it, fuck your ego, and you need to like put it over there on the shelf, come
Mm.
back and reevaluate the situation and go from there. What would I need out of this? What would I want out of this if I was
Yeah.
in their shoes? Just the whole treat each other like you want to be treated kind of thing.
Mm.
And I
Yeah.
think the values of rugby in that manner, man, they're rock solid. I can get along with any type of personality, background, culture, ethnicity, creed, etc., etc. And it's so funny because you talk about how Dylan, Culture RFC, I'll plug him,
Mhm. Yeah.
uh, and how he's building the culture the right way. And it's really cool that you brought that up because I have a party bus, okay, and something that I've been wanting to do on the party bus is do a live feed before a game.
Yeah.
And funny enough, Olivia,
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Alitha, right?
Yeah.
I probably butchered that last name. Sorry, guys. And she speaks so highly of you, by the way.
Oh,
And
great. That's nice.
yeah, right, right. Just yeah,
She's
yeah, yeah.
incredible. She's genuinely incredible. Half of the time, like we'll be chatting to each other, and I'll have to stop complimenting on her work and stuff. It's like it gets embarrassing otherwise. So no, absolutely.
Well, I shared a table with her at Devin's thing.
Okay.
So like,
Nice.
yeah, Olivia, like before she became part of the marketing group, like we
Mhm.
used to always travel and like we'd go to away games and we're looking around like, is there any familiar face? And it was her and I like, oh my gosh, hey, and greet. And then of course we work ourselves around rugby and here we are at different positions. So funner than can be. But we've been talking about doing a pregame live
Yeah.
podcast. And I'll tell everybody about it because I'm doing it. Funny enough, Ollie, right now, while we're doing this podcast, it was a guinea pig. And I figured you were the perfect guy to do it with because of what you're bringing to the MLR with the fan player in such integration, if you will.
Mm.
So Samu Manoa and I came up with this idea where we'd do a pre-funk before the game with a live podcast with players that, obviously the
Mhm.
24th man on one team and the guys that aren't playing on
Yeah.
ours. And then, just maybe not everybody partaking, but there is fans and you get the idea. It's just a
Mhm.
big party.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the idea is I have to do it remotely with like a hotspot
Yeah.
or whatever. And my cable, or excuse me, my internet went out earlier today, and I'm like, I am not missing this opportunity to shoot the gift with Ollie, bro. So like,
No way.
we're using my hotspot
Oh,
right
nice.
now, and we have not. It has not missed a beat, and I'm just like
Nice.
giddy as a little kid right now because that means I can plug all this same
Yeah.
shenanigan stuff in my bus, and we're going live.
No way. That's such a cool idea. I love
And
that.
I tested the waters last week. Is funny because I just had lunch with a buddy of mine. His name's Eric Larson. I met him. He was the president of the Jackal Den with
Oh yeah.
Dallas when they first came
Yeah.
through. Redheaded guy. I ran into
Yeah.
him all over the country since, and now he moved to the Seattle area, and so we
No way.
we we break bread on occasion. So anyways, he was in the mix and he heard about it, and I was just like, dude, I'm gonna test the waters. I'm gonna do the hot spot today, see how it works, and if it works, we're running with it. So, and what I
That's
did the other day is I ran Facebook Live and YouTube Live. I'd never done it before. Very intimidating from a 49-year-old guy that does not do tech for a living.
got it. Yeah.
So, like, showing my age, and it worked out beautifully, even though I'm on the other end going, hey, I'm just testing this out. I'm going to lick windows later with my elbows, one of the two. So, yeah. So thank you for being a guinea pig, even though you didn't know it.
No, I had no idea,
Yeah.
and I had no idea you were on a remote, like a hotspot connection. It's going great.
Yeah. It's working out beautifully. I mean, I was literally just at Verizon and speeded to the house because they couldn't put it together. And I was like, all right, guys, listen, you've had 2.5 hours. I got to go. You're not getting my money today. Sorry, guys. I'm using the one I got. So I'm glad I did, kind of low key, because It's
Yeah.
working just fine.
Going great. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
awesome. That's so
So
fun. I think those are the things too that are great because you get so one of the things that I work on like on fandom and building fan cultures, and that's something we're really good at it. OS Studios is like is building fandom. We're fan experts, right? We know how to build communities, and OS Studios, for background, they started in esports and gaming, and like we did a live feed not long ago and got 180 million viewers, right? So like we know how to run a show, and we know how to engage with fandom, and like it's incredible. And we work on huge projects, like massive projects. And so we started bringing, and that's part of why I now exist, is because we want to take that knowledge and that skill base and all the things we've learned in like the online fandoms and the places like gaming where, dude, you think rugby fans are tough? Like gaming fans are brutal. Like if you don't do something right, or if it's not authentic, they just boycott you and that's it, game over, done. So it's
just
like,
ghost you, as they say, right?
honestly, they
Look
go
beyond red.
so one of the best things on it about it is we're bringing those cultures to Major League Rugby, and building fandoms, and like that's kind of where I'm what I love about us is we have those skills and expertise. Now one of the things that we know is authenticity is everything, right? Like being authentic, like a real, like the reason that like broadcast is dying and YouTube is taking up everyone's eyeballs is because it's an authentic view of something. It's real, right? It's like actually
Yeah.
happening. It's not over polished. It's like a real view, a real take, a real experience. And
Yeah.
that's back to your remote podcast, is that's the thing that's great about it, right? Because it's candid. You're yes, you're putting in a space where people can do stuff and engage and interact, and you'll have fun stories, but the magic of that is that it's really authentic, it's really candid, and you're speaking to people like on their level. You're talking about really fun things, and I think that's the magic of like the podcast that you're the remote podcast you're looking to do in the party bus, is like you'll have an authentic, engaging interaction with players and communities and fans, and like that's the stuff that people care about. So yeah, no, that's great. I'm excited to listen.
Yeah, no, I thank you. I'm really excited to. I'm saying it because I already have it in the works, and I already have my irons in the fire, so to speak.
Nice. Yeah.
Um, but of course, I was more than thrilled to run it by you,
Yeah.
because
Great.
now that you've changed positions and you're in the shoes that you're in, it's really cool to share this with you because you're like-minded.
Yeah.
Otherwise, again, it goes back to, instead of talking about what I think everybody should do, or what some of the clubs should do, I'm just going to do it. And if
Yeah.
it fails, great. If it doesn't, you know
Yeah.
what? It's another discussion for another time.
I actually think if it fails, great, because you learn something, right? Like it's very rare that
Yeah.
things are like, when things don't go right, you learn twice as much anyway. So
Mhm.
the honest truth is, like, yeah, failing at stuff is good. Genuinely, the biggest, the scariest thing about failure is the ego, right? It's the like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to feel that way. But if you can remove the ego from what you're doing, and like you look at failure as just like another learning experience, and you're like, you will ultimately be in a better place because of it. So yeah, man, like even if you put the podcast on and things aren't right, like every single, like my wife's a pediatric cardiologist, right? So she's a doctor, and
Okay.
the problems she deals with, sometimes they don't have solutions, right? In the real world, like there's no solution. Like the cool thing about working in sports and marketing and like content and fandom and fun stuff is, like, even the problems you get, one, they don't really matter, right? Because like if the connectivity dies on your podcast, oh well, next time we'll figure something, like, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. And then the next thing is, most of them have got solutions, right? So like you may not have the solution right now, but you can figure it out and you can find it. You just
Yeah.
keep moving forward all the time. So yeah, I think it's great, man. Like we need to, one of our biggest things that we talk about with strategy, not just Major League Rugby, but for everyone, all the people I work with, is creating with fans and building things with fans and build, like we say create with them, don't market to them a lot. Like that's our mantra.
I
And
love that.
actually it goes back to authenticity. It's, you know, when we need to facilitate these things and communications and conversations with fans to not only be like there in the moment, but to help us build the things, right? So like what you're doing is exactly what, you know, I talk about in strategy meetings for hours and hours every day. But yeah, it's like it's like,
Yeah.
hey, here's a really
Yeah.
good example, right? It's like, and actually like this is I'm really glad we had this conversation, because this is the kind of stuff that I can take back to teams when I chat with them and say like, hey, like this is a really good example of like build with your community, right? Like go out and find people that want to create content for you and want to be
Yeah.
part of these things and are willing to dedicate their time, because that's the biggest thing, right? Like someone who's willing to dedicate time to help you advance your mission, they need to be
Yeah.
part of it, and we need to build with people. So no, it's great. Olivia's lucky to have you, I guess.
Dude, her and I'll flirt with each other a day, complimenting each other. Like, are you kidding me? And then Nessie come in the mix. You like, dude, I adore that family just in general. Like, I've had so many fun, candid conversations that I cannot repeat in public. But like, you know, that's just how friendship works. In all sincerity, you give each other trust and you run with it. And if they don't return that, that's you learn something, and that's just a
Yeah,
learning curve. You got to move through it and get over it, because that's just the way life is. And the more we can control our egos, the better off we're going to be, especially if you're trying to grow something like rugby, where it's pointed out that you're to try to turn it down on the ego and turn up the empathy.
yeah, for
So
sure. I think
uh
also as well, like learn, like the other thing I would say is like the game is like at the heart of what we do, but it's not the real reason we're there. And I think that's always important to remember. Like, the thing, the example I use all the time is my wife and I, like, we love board games, right? We're like, I'm a strategist, so like that's like right
yeah,
up
she's
my
not going to
alley,
play
you know.
chess, but you played
Yeah,
some Monopoly or something.
we play board games a lot. Like we'll have a few beers with friends and we'll play board games and stuff. And I've gone to people's houses, or whatever, we've gone for dinner, and then like someone will pull out a new board game. And you know what I hate is when someone sits down and they read you the rules, right? They like say like, okay, this is rule number 1 and this is rule number 2. And if you don't do that, and you have to like kind of sit there on your hands, like waiting to play and get involved. Like I've never once left that scenario and gone, wow, I'm so glad I know all the rules to that board game, right? I've never once left an environment where I'm like, thank God I know the rules, because that's going to change my life. But you know what? I have left the room and said is like, hey, that was fun, like figuring that out. Like I had the best time just like playing and seeing where I got. And you know what? Like we made some mistakes and we figured stuff out. But the bit that you enjoy is like all the other stuff, right? It's like the
Yeah.
laughing with people, the conversations while you're playing, the mistakes and fumbling around. Like, and that's where I think like that's the
Or rooting
analogy.
on your team
Yeah, and that's the
together.
analogy, right? And like that's the analogy I use for rugby all the time. Is it's like we kind of have to we have to do a very good job of building the tools that teach people the rules and teach people those things, but that comes with time, right? Like
Yeah.
you didn't play, and you know the rules inside out probably better than most, and so
Right.
but you didn't, I assume you didn't sit down the second you saw a rugby game and went, I must know every single law in this game, I need to like go through it top to bottom, or I physically can never enjoy it, right? You sit down,
Right.
you're like,
Right.
whoa, that's fun. Like that contact's crazy. Or
Yeah.
hey, can I have another beer, buddy? Right, typically. And so those are the things we need to focus on when we're selling rugby and like chatting to our friends and bringing them in. Like we need
Yeah.
to like let people discover the rules. You know what I love to watch, and it's relevant right now.
Yeah.
I love curling. I love watching curling. I got no idea what's happening in that. I don't know why they use the broom. I have no
Did
idea
Kenny
what
get you into
I,
curling, bro?
no, but genuinely, right? Does I don't know if the broom speeds up the stone or slows down the stone. I don't know. All I
It looks
know
cool.
is it looks awesome. And then when he brushes too much, I will have an opinion on it. I'll let him know. I'm not sure what it is that he's done wrong, but he's done something wrong. Like,
if he shows
yeah,
up on a concrete job, he's fired.
yeah. It's like, no, come on. So, like, that's again the thing, right? Is it's
Okay.
like you can fall in love with something without understanding it fully. You just kind of, we just have to sell the cultures around it and the fun around it. I think,
When I think with our culture, it's funner than snot because, like, my wife gets. So we have like I said, we got a party bus. So we try to go to every game with a full party bus, and so there's a lot of people that have never seen this thing we call rugby. And I'm like, you come for the. I'm like, the people that like men. I'm like, hey, you come for the thighs, you stay for the tries. You know what I'm saying? And like, this never gets old. And we got all sorts of nicknames for rucks and such that are inappropriate. But you know what? It draws them in, and they're like, "Hey, when are we going to another one?" And I'm like, "Yeah, all right, we got the fish hook is set. Like, yeah, we're on it, bro."
So good.
And we have way too much fun.
When I like joined the Free Jacks, so I worked with the Free Jacks in the early days as a contractor. Like, I had my own small little marketing agency, creative agency at the time, and I worked on a few projects and helped them build some stuff. And it was back with a guy called Ollie Gilpin, who was like incredibly talented young guy coming into the marketing scene. He was originally at Dartmouth, and I helped him out with a few things, and we set stuff up. And then he moved on, and Mags brought me in to like run the marketing and help with the creative and kind of really build the brand stuff. I think that was the main focus there for me, was really establishing the brand in the community and selling tickets, getting people on the ground. And anyway, it was probably like
you killed it.
Oh, thank you. Again, it wasn't just me; it was a whole team. But yeah, but Mags, I met Mags in 2019, I guess, end of 2019, and I was saying to him like, "Oh, I've started playing." This is genuinely true. He might kill me for saying this, but this is genuinely true. He was like, I was like, "Oh, I've started playing again, like, D4 kind of beer rugby." This is like 2019, 7 years ago, whatever. And I was like, I've started playing again, and like, I'm really enjoying it. I was like, would you ever play? And he's like, no, definitely not. And then, like, the only way I can describe this is kind of like a Labrador, like imagining a sausage or like something, He looked at me and went, do you go to the bar afterwards? And I was like, yeah, we go to the bar every week. He's like, do you sing songs? And I'm like, yeah, we sing songs, and he's like, oh, I can see all the memories like ticking back in his head of like going to the bar after rugby, singing the songs. Dude, he played at the highest level. Like, he played on the world stage. He's got like incredible rugby, credibility. And he's like, one of the greats from USA Rugby. And I was like, do you ever want to play? Do you ever miss playing? He's like, but you bring up the bar and the songs and the camaraderie, and he's like, yeah, that's the stuff, right? And so, no, I think about that story all the time. Like, it's a good driver. No, it's fun.
That's awesome.
You'll probably kill me for saying that, but it's true.
I hope he gives you a noogie.
He's a big man. I hope not. Yeah, he's a big man.
Yeah, don't flush him. Don't flush him. It's not fair. So Rob Hammerschmidt and I are and a couple other solid rugby community hooligans. We're meeting up down in Tennessee.
No way.
And doing the Nashville game. Super excited. So I'm going to fly into Anthem. Going to go to that game.
Awesome.
Hang out with some parents of players because I'm that old. And then we're going to make our way through the Bourbon Trail on our way over to Nashville. We're renting a car and taking
I don't know how you'll survive. Well, how will you survive? Know, right? Sounds terrible.
I'm planning it out the other day. And I'm like, oh, bro, I can't wait to tell Ollie. I mean, like, this is going to be so good. Yeah. So the part that is going to be really exciting that I just put together, because you and I are just now shooting the GIF, but like I don't think it'll be the last time by any way.
No, for
Uh,
sure.
yeah. Um, so I like to put on events. I like to put on shenanigans, and I like to
Oh,
put
fun.
on bonds and friendships and storytelling.
Yeah.
And so I like to get Rugby 100 Club. That's really what it's based off of, and it's all
Yeah.
about us just getting together. So I reached out to one of the parents and Ray Keene, Carl Keene's dad. Carl Keene
Mhm.
plays scrummy for Anthem.
Yeah.
He used to play here in Seattle. So Ray really helps with the grassroots here in Washington, and that's how
Yeah.
we've all met before MLR ever began, right?
I love
And
it.
so he hooked me up with this guy that his friends of his that has a rugby pub in Nashville.
Oh, there we go.
I spoke with him on the phone after I was introduced to him, and we came to an agreement that I just locked in yesterday. And Saturday, the night before the game in Nashville, we will be doing a live podcast with the Rugby Rant and myself.
No way. That's
We will
great.
be giving away, we are collecting items, donations, hint, hint,
Yeah.
and to give away to community. We will be interviewing and we will be inviting local community rugby clubs as
Yeah.
well as interviewing them, because it's about grassroots. It's about exposing the culture in Nashville, because I think that is
Mm.
the whole point behind them going
Yeah.
to Nashville. And so we're going to push that agenda
Oh, that's great.
my way, the way I like to do things, which is grassroots. I love
Mhm.
MLR, but without grassroots, the MLR will fall apart. And
Yeah.
that is just the reality. It's not a dig. It's not an insult. I don't want the
Yeah.
MLR to fall apart, just for those watching, judging, whatever. But we have to stick to grassroots. And I think too many people didn't pay enough attention to that. And I think that's why it hasn't grown as fast as it could have.
Mm.
Because we have to build the community and the culture before we can build the business part. And
Mm.
so I think Rob and I, man, if it wasn't for club, I wouldn't even know rugby existed. It was never, I knew about it before the MLR, not much before, but the reality is that's the
Mhm.
reality.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be a lot of fun. I want to collect some swag of those that want to contribute. It will be raffled and gifted to
Oh, wow.
fans of rugby. 10% we're going to do two specials. 10% of those drink specials will be gifted to the local clubs in rugby. The owner already donates 9%
No way. That's
to
great.
rugby clubs in the area. So it was an easy conversation to have with him. So I'm excited to tell you, because you're the first one from MLR that I've told.
Nice. That's so
And
cool.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
yeah,
love that.
it's pretty excited about it. And so,
That's great.
if you guys are down there in Nashville for that
Yeah, yeah.
excitement, would
Yeah, we'll
love
do.
you to pop your head in and say hi and grace us with your presence and show us some off screen shenanigan kind of
Oh, for
attitude.
sure.
You know what I mean?
Dude,
Just come have
like,
a pint, be yourself, and please
that'd be great.
engage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That'd be great. I'd love that. I'd absolutely love that.
Super
I'll
excited.
add that to my notes. We'll talk. We'll need to talk again. And
Please.
get
Yeah,
some
because
plans
after I get
together.
off with you, Rob and I are doing a podcast and we're plugging the living snot out of this,
Oh,
because
great.
we need the people to come together.
Yeah.
And who better to do it than a couple of knuckleheads that love to talk about rugby?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's fantastic, man. Hey, do you mind if I ask you like a two-part question? It won't take long, I promise.
I love it. Yeah,
Um,
come at me, bro. It's normally me always asking questions, so please and thank you.
no, is that I guess in an like all of the like landscape stuff aside, like the community stuff and the teams and all those other things that they're Major League Rugby, like from a solely from like a marketing and like the business that I'm in and like fandom and all those things, I guess what is it that is there anything you think we could do better as a league that drives you in your fandom? And then number two, because you're not only a fan, you're a creator and you build stories and tell stories, is there anything we could do better to help you as a creator? And I think the reason I separate those two things out is because both are
Yeah.
really important. right?
Yeah.
You cover two bases.
Then now the first one you're gonna have to repeat for me because I
So
was
just like
caught up in it all and like so overwhelming.
what could we do? What could we do better? Like what are the things we could do better to help you as a creator? I guess let's start there and we can
That
tackle
was
the
the second question, right?
yeah, and then the first
But
yeah,
what
and then
was your first one? I do want to play off the first one because I
what
think
could be
it'll
better?
feed into the
What
second one.
what could we do better to help you as a fan? Like, what is it? And I don't mean like at the stadiums, but like at the league. Like, what is it that could help you as a fan? Like, what are the things that you think that we can do extra to help you as a fan to
Mm.
enjoy the rugby, to engage with the storytelling, like all those things? Is there anything that comes to the top of your mind where you're like, I'd love to see more of, or I'd love to be able to have as a fan?
Me as a fan, I tend to stay quiet in the sense of like I don't need to be the squeaky wheel all the time. I like to try and lead by example best I can. There are roadblocks I run into that the MLR as a content creator could help me with. And they have, in all sincerity, as I've learned how to ask for the help
Got it.
um, through the proper channels. Olivia, obviously, Clarky,
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
all the people in the office that I've learned over time.
Yeah.
So I just thought of one. Man, I have some stories I can't tell you right now on this podcast that I would love to share with you. But I think one of them is uh, I think the MLR would benefit if you guys brought back player cards. And hear me out. So
Mhm.
you bring back player cards, and after each game, you do what Houston did. The players come out to the pitch for say 20 minutes before they go wash and then finish up their social and such. And I think that if they did player cards like they did in 2019,
Yeah.
in 2020, if you will, early on before the pandemic,
Mhm.
and have those fans go to that player and get that autograph signature, maybe their picture with it. Now they have an inexpensive object that they
Mhm.
can take home because fans are going to want to bond with the players. They want to have that personal relationship with them to draw
Yeah.
them in. That is why NFL grabbed another gear when Dungeons and Dragons is what I like to say.
Mhm.
When the ultimate the reality I'm sorry, I'm losing words. When we all started taking different players, putting them on our fantasy
Oh,
uh
yeah.
football and the
Yeah.
gambling of it all, right? And that's like those now they're watching more rugby than just their team because now they have a relationship or they
Mhm.
feel like they have a relationship with that player and like, oh, I can't wait to see what he does on Sunday, so to speak. And
Yeah.
so by them having that bond, especially the young bloods,
Mhm.
with that player that they look up to because one, they're freaking giants, but literal, but like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think that'll build the bond, which will grow it, and they can share those stories with other people, which will grow it.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Love
I
that.
think that's what Houston did right, and I really enjoyed it. Um, and I think more uh maybe not always more, but keep fan engagement like halftime shows including fans, even if they're just trying to take a chip at the uprights for some sort of swag. I think that is good engagement because you get their asses out of seats on the
Mhm.
pitch and now they're, whoa, I'm on the pitch. Like it is a deal, it's a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
um so I
I
think
love that.
I think those are very affordable things that can be done without breaking the bank because I think a lot of fans just think that the MLR's got endless amounts of money and they want to, oh yeah, just do this and do that and pay me for my ideas. And
Yeah.
I don't think that's the reality. I know it's not the reality. So
Mhm.
those are two spots I would throw in the mix as a content creator.
Love that.
Um, I would like a little bit of, you know what? I think a little bit of inside information that we can talk about without
Mhm.
it because I know so much and I know I shouldn't. or rather, I'm privileged, and I don't
Yeah.
want to ruin that opportunity or that
Yeah.
ability to have that information. Plus, like, not everybody's into rugby as much as we are, bro. So like, nobody
Yeah.
gives sense about it.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
But
Hey,
you and I,
yeah,
man, we can sit back in the corner and just talk about it for hours, going, "Oh my gosh, what about this trade? Oh my gosh, what about that guy going to that team?" All that jazz.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think so. This is something that we work with Mitch. So yeah, obviously OS. I'm Studios. I'm the agency. Like I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I'm working directly in the MLR's team. So I
mhm,
want to make
mhm.
it clear that like a lot of these things, these initiatives, are
Right,
not coming from me. They're coming from the from the league. One
marketing.
of the big thing, yeah, and they're doing a great job. Anne Chandler at the league is absolutely crushing it right now. She just stepped up into the marketing department, and she's honestly, you wouldn't believe the stuff that she's like. Not only is she turning out great work, but she is like diligent and like forward thinking and planned. She's genuinely great. But one of the things that we've been working with the league on, and something that we're good at, is creating, like building creator communities, right? So like these spaces where we're like connecting with creators who are, and it's not like yeah, it's nice to work with people that have got like 1 million followers and like who are doing all these things. But the honest truth is, the most important thing is quality content, right?
Yeah,
Stories that people can engage with. Like that's the most important part here. So yeah, we are. I can't speak to too much of it because it's like in the
okay.
works. I have your phone number, so we're gonna be fine. But yeah, that is something we are progressing with Major League Rugby right now. Is how do we
Mhm.
engage with more creators? How do we bring them into the storytelling? How do we, and like, it can't always be like, inside access. Sometimes it can,
Right.
and a lot of that has to come from the teams and not come from but definitely not from us at OS. But sometimes it comes from the league. More than likely, like that stuff comes from teams. But what the league, I think, can do is like actually like start helping out by connecting with the people that are doing great work, like yourself and Rob
Thank you.
and all the other fantastic creators. So yeah, no, I think that's a definite thing that we'll hope to be bringing to 2026. So
I just had to tell Rob that
oh,
I'd
of
be with
course, no worries.
I wasn't trying to be
Apologies.
rude, and
No,
I
you're
hate
fine.
being on my phone during conversation because that's rude. But sorry, bro.
No, no, no. I
You
will
know how
talk.
it is.
I'll talk forever. So
No,
please, no.
and I'm so glad that you did, Ollie. Honestly, because like sometimes you engage with people and some aren't they're just not as warm, if you will. And I just have had nothing but a great time with you. I
Oh, good. I'm
really
glad.
thank you for making it and
I had a
giving me your
blast.
time because time's the most precious commodity we all have. So I appreciate it.
No, honestly, Matt, thank you. Yeah, no, it's been great, mate. I had a blast.
Yeah, no, we'll do another one soon, and
Yeah.
I really hope you make it to Nashville. In all
Oh,
sincerity, I really
I'll
do.
be there. I'll be there.
Okay,
Yeah, you won't be able to get rid
yeah.
of me is the issue. I'll be on that party bus in minutes. Don't you worry.
Yeah, you know, right? I wish I had one down there. I mean, ooh, that would be too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with the group that's going down there. I think, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I know Rob and I, and then Dan and Sheila Falcon from New Orleans Gold,
That's,
and we're like, yeah, yeah. I mean, and who knows
remind me of
who else?
the name of the pub. What was the pub called?
I
The
didn't say the name of the pub.
oh, there we go. There we go.
So the fun thing is because it will be out by the time we plug this. So it
Right.
is the Lost Patty Pub,
Oh,
and
great.
they are a rugby and football, aka soccer,
Yeah. Yeah.
pub, and he contributes money towards the rugby culture already. So like
No way.
by
That's great.
me making those connections and asking him to do that was not foreign to him. If anything, he's already doing it. He's like, bro, I can totally do that. I'm already doing it. I'm like,
Oh, that's great.
and I was like, dude, if you were right here, I'd probably give you the biggest hug you ever had, because I'm a pretty big guy.
Yeah, I love that. That's so good.
I'm excited. I just super delighted, man. And
Yeah.
yeah, we're running from there, so it
Awesome.
should be a good time. I put in for my media passes through the Hounds. I don't know
I
if you know
love it.
anybody who can help me with that, but it'd be great if you could. And
Yeah.
so, create some more content and run with it. I just hired a person to help me with this because that is not my expertise, but dang it, I can get something together and do a podcast. Let's go.
Yeah, that's great, man. I love
Yeah.
that.
So
Fantastic.
we're excited to contribute towards that Nashville situation with the game, and hopefully we can get those Chicago fans and those New England fans to travel down there and put some butts in seats.
Yeah, no, that'd be
That'd be
great.
cool.
Yeah, it'd be really cool.
That'd be cool. Maybe you got some ideas that you could share with me now you get my phone number, bud.
Well, dude, we'll connect. We'll connect.
Yeah. I got a couple of things in motion to say the least. So anything you could help me with, it would take off some pressure. But nonetheless, we're going to have so much stinking fun getting the community together, as well as that community is going to the game. We're hoping, of course, so they can see the big show in their own town. And I mean, honestly, I'm going early. So hopefully they got a couple games on Saturday and I can go in the morning and go watch a couple if there's any going on. So, should be a great time.
No, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be with you.
Sweet, man. I can't wait. Well, thank you for everything. Thank you for all that you've been doing in the MLR, starting with the Free Jacks, and now you're working for the advertisement or marketing, of it all. I guess they're probably peanut butter and jelly, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And man, it's exciting. It's exciting when the people that are moving into situations like this. You and Alex, Brandon Sparks, that nobody's been talking about how he's been moving around. I don't know if you've been keeping up with Brandon at all, but that's another guy I would like to bring on here and talk about how he's moved around and made influences, aka the director of rugby for MLR. So I think that's a big deal that people don't see his work going on. And I just dude, there's so many good guys like you that are making their moves. And I just over here, like, I'm a little cheerleader for you guys.
Oh, great, man. No, honestly, can't speak highly enough of like everyone at Major League Rugby. Like, it is full of grafters who are just care deeply about rugby and rugby communities and wanting to grow this thing and get as many people into rugby as possible. So yeah, can't speak highly enough. And there's so many, like, to your point, like, there's so many people out there that are doing it under the radar, right? Who you don't see, and there's just like all these bodies at work. So no, they're incredible. They're an incredible team, and it's a privilege to help them on their mission, because make no mistake, they're the people driving this. We're just helping them get there. And yeah, no, it's a real privilege to be part of it.
It's fun to hear you be so humble, by the way. It's really appreciated. So, for you to see it as the big picture on a consistent basis, I can see why you're moving the way you are, bud. Honest Abe. Yeah. Respect you. All right, man, I'll let you go. I mean, like, just like you, I could just gab away, and I'm sure nobody's going to watch this this hour and 20 minute, but I couldn't stop. I
loved it. It was great.
Man, great times, man. I appreciate everything. I mean, like I said to you, man, we keep seeing each other in passing, but we never stop long enough to chop it up. And I think now we will. If anything, I'll probably slap it on the ass when you're not looking, as long as we're not in front of a lady. You know what I'm saying? Good game, bro. I mean, I'm out.
Yeah, I look forward to Nashville then.
It'll be great. It'll be absolutely. Rob and I'll figure out the details of but I typically work the crowd, so I'll let him have the stage kind of thing, and just kind of fun. It should be a great time. I mean, no matter what, we're going to make it a great time. So we just need to get some people in there, support it, spend their money, which turns into donations for rugby. So it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, no, I love that. All right, man. Cool.
All right. Well, I'm going to end this. And if you want to stick around for 2 seconds, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man.
All right. Have a good one.
Love rugby? So does Matt. He is host of the Rugby 100 Club podcast, where Major League Rugby stars tell their stories. But it's more than a podcast, it's a passport. Rugby 100 Club builds epic fan trips to follow your team on the road. Game day tickets included. Tailgates and fan meetups? You bet. Unforgettable memories every single time. Rugby 100 Club, where fandom meets the road.